Finn thought that being a hero meant having everything figured out. But in The New Frontier, he's forced to face a harsh truth. He has no idea what's next. After all the battles, all the saving, all the chaos, Finn realizes he's built his entire identity on other people's needs. And now, he's stuck. The world needs him to be a hero, but what happens when the hero doesn't know who he is anymore? The episode doesn't just question Finn's future, it questions all of ours. We're told that life will give us clear answers if we just work hard enough. But what happens when you've done everything right and you still have no clue what comes after? In this video, we're talking about why The New Frontier hits so hard, and how it shows us the truth about growing up. Before I continue the video, make sure you're subscribed to our channel, and now let's get back to the video. Jake's dream about dying changes everything. He doesn't see it as something to be scared of. He thinks it's the most exciting thing that's ever happened to him. In the dream, he's floating in space with Banana Man, running out of air while the cosmic owl just watches. Most people would wake up in a cold sweat after something like that, but not Jake. He's bouncing around like he's just heard the best news in the world.
Yeah, man, there was a rocket ship, you weren't there, and there was a Banana Man, and I ran out of air in outer space. Oh, isn't that great, Finn?
He says it all with a smile that doesn't match what he's saying at all. He's not just trying to look tough, he's actually thrilled. He's not acting, he's genuinely excited about this vision of his death. You can hear the excitement in his voice, even though he's talking about taking his last breath in space. That's what makes it so weird and so powerful. Most of us would be terrified, but not Jake. He's ready for it. This excitement messes with your head because it's not how we're taught to think about death. We're told to fear it, to dread it, to avoid it. But Jake? He's treating it like an adventure he can't wait to start. That's what makes this episode feel so different from everything else. It forces you to look at death in a completely new way. It's not sad or scary for him. It's like he's getting a sneak peek at something wonderful. And that's what makes this moment so unforgettable. It's not about being brave or ignoring fear. It's about being so curious and excited about what comes next that even the idea of dying can't slow you down. What makes this moment even more unsettling is Jake's casual mention that Finn wasn't in the dream. He tosses out this detail while rolling over, almost as an afterthought, but it lands like a punch to Finn's gut. This dream doesn't just predict Jake's death, it predicts Finn's absence from the most significant moment of his best friend's existence. For someone whose entire identity revolves around being there for others, this exclusion feels like cosmic rejection. Jake sees his croak dream as cosmic graduation day. He explains to Finn that when he dies, his consciousness will spread everywhere.
I'm gonna be all around you, in your nose and your dreams and socks. I'll be a part of you in your Earth mind. It's gonna be great.
To Jake, death is becoming everything at once. This is Jake's genuine belief system, rooted in his spiritual understanding of existence. The beauty of Jake's worldview lies in its complete absence of fear. Where most people see death as loss, Jake sees expansion. Where others see ending, he sees transformation. His stretchy, shape-shifting nature extends to his understanding of consciousness itself. Just as he can reshape his body at will, he believes death is simply another way of reshaping his existence. This perspective allows him to embrace change in ways that more rigid beings find impossible. But Jake's spiritual confidence creates an impossible situation for Finn. How do you argue with someone's genuine peace about their own mortality? How do you convince someone that their cosmic destiny is actually a tragedy when they see it as the greatest adventure possible? Jake's joy about his croak dream puts Finn in the position of arguing against his best friend's happiness, making Finn feel selfish for wanting Jake to live. Finn represents every person who's ever had to watch someone they love do something that scares the hell out of them. His response is brutal in its honesty.
It's making me messed up. I'm 13.
That line hits hard because it's true. At 13, you think you can control everything if you just try hard enough. You think love means keeping people safe, not letting them make choices that might hurt them. Finn isn't ready to accept that Jake gets to decide what happens to his own life, even if that decision is death. The cruel truth about growing up is that the people we love most will outgrow us, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. 13 is the worst age to learn that heroes can't save everyone. You're old enough to know what death means, but still young enough to think you can punch your way out of any problem. Finn lives in that horrible space where you still believe love can fix everything, but reality keeps proving you wrong. Jake's spiritual awakening forces Finn to grow up fast, and he's not ready for it. The genius of The New Frontier shows itself when Banana Man actually appears at their door. Every detail from Jake's dream comes true with terrifying accuracy. The helmet, the dancing, the rocket ship in the backyard. Finn's vague worry becomes immediate panic. Watch how Finn falls apart. He starts by hiding Jake behind the freezer, which makes sense. Then he follows Banana Man around, telling himself he's just keeping watch. But each step drags him deeper into a need for control that he doesn't even recognize. When he pulls out flaming arrows, everything has changed. Finn tells Jake these are warning shots to scare him into moving far away. But we see him aiming straight at Banana Man's head, twice. In those moments between drawing the bow and releasing the arrow, Finn makes a choice he won't admit to himself. What started as protection has become something much darker. He's so desperate to keep Jake safe that he's ready to kill someone, and he doesn't even see it happening. The episode nails this perfectly. Finn honestly thinks he's being a hero while preparing to murder an innocent person. This isn't some master plan of evil, it's fear dressed up as love, and it's terrifying how normal it looks. Finn's behavior happens everywhere in real life. The parents who destroy their kids' friendships because they don't approve. The friends who talk you out of your dreams because they're scared you'll get hurt. The partner who cuts you off from everyone they think is a bad influence. Finn's arrow represents every horrible thing people do when they think they're protecting someone they love. When Jake discovers the rocket ship, the episode hits its breaking point. Jake climbs in despite Finn's protests, because this is what he believes he's meant to do.
You can't stop destiny, Finn!
He shouts while lighting the fuse. Jake thinks he's following his cosmic purpose, doing exactly what the universe wants from him. Finn's response shows exactly what the episode is about. He grabs Jake's leg and won't let go. The physical fight becomes the perfect picture of every relationship, where one person wants to grow, and the other person wants them to stay exactly the same. Jake needs to follow his path. Finn needs Jake to stay safe. Both wants make sense, and both can't happen at the same time.
Man, let me go.
Jake begs. And those words cut through the entire show. This is about the basic fight between holding on and letting go, between keeping people safe and letting them make their own choices, between being afraid of losing someone and having the guts to support what they actually want. But watch what happens next. The rocket doesn't work because there isn't enough explosive stuff. Finn's meddling changes what happens, but not the way he wanted. Instead of stopping Jake's death dream, he accidentally makes it happen anyway. They all fall into an underground lake that looks exactly like the space from Jake's vision. Here's where the episode gets really smart. The underwater scene seems to make Jake's death dream come true perfectly. He's holding his breath underwater, surrounded by dark, space-like water, with Banana Man floating nearby and a tiny Earth model drifting past. But then, Finn swims over to him. Jake's disappointment is obvious. But Finn's presence completely changes what it means. The prophecy said Jake would be alone with Banana Man when he ran out of air. Finn's refusal to abandon his friend literally rewrites what was supposed to happen. The moment shows something huge about how fate works in Adventure Time's world. Prophecies aren't set-in-stone rules, but more like weather forecasts. Likely outcomes based on what's happening right now. Change what's happening, and you change what's going to happen. Finn being there is like throwing a wrench into the gears of destiny, forcing it to become something completely different. The underwater scene also works as the perfect picture of how we experience crisis. Everything feels massive and unstoppable when you're drowning in it. The darkness, the silence, the feeling of floating in some alien world. These match exactly how we feel when we're facing death or huge life changes. But having someone there who refuses to leave can turn even the most terrifying experiences into something you can actually survive. Watch how this scene plays out. Jake initially tries to push Finn away, still dead set on fulfilling his destiny. But when Finn hugs him and refuses to let go, Jake's fight completely disappears. The hug underwater becomes like a reset button, both of them coming up with a totally new understanding of their relationship to fate and each other. This twist shows the episode's real message. We're not just helpless victims of whatever's supposed to happen to us. Our choices, our presence, our refusal to abandon each other. These things actually matter on a cosmic level. Destiny exists, but it's bendable. Human connection has the power to literally change the universe. The fake planet floating in the water drives this point home perfectly. What seemed cosmic and unstoppable was actually just a toy, a fake version of something much bigger. Our perspective on death might be just as limited. What feels like universal truth might be as small and manageable as a kid's plaything. The Earth in Jake's dream looked perfect and round, nothing like the messed up post-apocalyptic world they actually live in. Even prophecies can be based on bad information. Banana Man's final revelation
Just wanted to borrow some sugar.
seems like a joke at first, but it's actually devastating. All those cosmic forces that seemed to be planning Jake's death were just normal, everyday stuff blown up into something huge by fear and overthinking. This character does way more than just move the plot forward. Banana Man represents how we turn normal stuff into huge, scary meanings when we're terrified. His innocent workout routine becomes prophecy in Jake's mind. His harmless rocket hobby turns into a tool of fate. His simple need for sugar becomes some cosmic punchline. But here's the real kicker. Finn's take on Banana Man shows exactly what's going on in his own head. Just like Finn sees danger in this normal neighbor, we all try to control things that can't be controlled when we're scared out of our minds. Finn sees Banana Man as a threat that needs to be destroyed rather than just a guy with his own innocent reasons for doing stuff. This says way more about Finn's mental state than about any actual cosmic forces. The episode suggests that sometimes the universe isn't sending us messages at all. We're just really good at hearing scary threats and random everyday noise when we're already freaking out. Banana Man's total normalness destroys the big dramatic story both Jake and Finn have built around him. He's not some agent of destiny or a threat that needs eliminating. He's just a neighbor who builds rockets and needs baking supplies. Turned into something dark and scary by two people dealing with their own fears about death and control. The episode's ending refuses to make anyone feel better. Jake figures out that the death dream didn't happen exactly like he thought, but then decides it must be destined to happen again when Finn isn't around. This creates a whole new problem. If Finn never leaves Jake's side, neither of them can grow. Finn's response, promising to never leave Jake's side,
For the rest of our lives.
shows how empty his solution really is. His weird fake voice when making this promise proves that even he knows this won't work. The promise works more like a band-aid than a real plan, a way to avoid dealing with the actual problem rather than fixing it. This moment exposes Finn's real fear. Not just that Jake might die, but that Jake might not need him anymore. If Jake can embrace his cosmic destiny without needing Finn's protection, what does that say about Finn's worth? His promise to never leave Jake's side is really a promise to never let Jake grow beyond him, to keep their relationship frozen in a place where Finn stays important. Real relationships need room for people to grow on their own, but Finn's desperate holding on has turned from protection into a new kind of jail, one that traps both of them. The episode ends with Finn chasing Jake, both of them laughing, but the real tension stays unresolved. They've put off the death dream, but haven't dealt with the basic question: how do you love someone without making them responsible for keeping you feeling important? The New Frontier hits even harder when you compare it to other episodes. In Pahoy, Finn lives an entire lifetime in another world, complete with marriage, kids, and death, only to forget the whole experience when he comes back. That episode suggests our relationship with death is way more complicated than we think. We can understand death in our heads while being totally unprepared for it emotionally. The connection between these episodes is huge. In Pahoy, Finn lives an entire lifetime but forgets it when he comes back to his normal life, suggesting that our biggest experiences with death might happen in places our conscious mind can't even access. In The New Frontier, Jake embraces death as the ultimate adventure, while Finn fights tooth and nail to prevent it, showing how the same scary questions about death can make people react in totally opposite ways, depending on their beliefs and how ready they are emotionally. Princess Bubblegum's story throughout the series gives us another way to look at these themes. Her scientific approach to problems mirrors Finn's heroic approach. Both characters try to control what happens through knowledge and action. But Bubblegum keeps learning that some things are beyond even the smartest planning, just like Finn learns that some destinies can't be stopped through heroics. Bubblegum's creation of Goliath as a backup ruler comes from the same fear driving Finn in this episode. What happens to the people we protect when we aren't around to protect them anymore? Both characters struggle with the reality that love sometimes means accepting that we can't fix everything. The difference is that Bubblegum tries to handle this through scientific preparation, while Finn handles it through emotional denial. The episode also connects to Adventure Time's bigger exploration of growing up and growing apart. Throughout the series, Finn keeps running into situations where his kid-like approach to problems doesn't work for adult complications. The New Frontier represents one of his first encounters with a problem that can't be solved through traditional heroics. You can't fight death, you can't defeat destiny, and you can't save someone from their own spiritual calling. The New Frontier works because it doesn't take sides. Jake's spiritual take on death isn't treated like crazy mystical garbage, and Finn's desperate fight against it isn't laughed off as kid stuff. Both reactions are legitimate ways of dealing with death, and the episode shows that good relationships need space for people to handle terrifying life and death questions in their own ways. The episode reveals that the most dangerous kind of love is the kind that demands control over someone else's choices. Finn's transformation from protector to potential killer shows how fast good intentions can become destructive when fear takes over. Real love sometimes means letting people make choices that hurt us badly. But the episode also shows that just being there matters. Finn's refusal to abandon Jake doesn't stop the death dream through force. It changes the dream through connection. The difference is huge. One approach tries to control destiny. The other helps reshape it. The underground lake scene proves this perfectly. Jake gets his space experience, Banana Man gets his adventure, and Finn gets to stay by Jake's side. Nobody's needs get thrown away, but everyone's expectations get completely changed. The solution doesn't come from someone winning or losing, but from finding new ways to honor what everyone actually wants deep down. The New Frontier ultimately teaches us that dealing with our future means accepting the limits of our control, or refusing to give up our ability to act. We can't stop every bad thing from happening to people we love, but we can choose to stay present with them through uncertainty. The episode shows that growing up doesn't mean accepting death or change without feeling anything. Jake's joy and Finn's terror are both real responses to mortality. Growing up means learning to support each other through these feelings without demanding that everyone feel the same way we do. Finn learns that his job is to stick with him through whatever happens next. Jake learns that embracing his cosmic purpose doesn't mean ditching his earthly connections. Both characters discover that love and growth aren't enemies. They're what make each other work. The episode reminds us that every relationship exists in the shadow of eventual separation, whether through death, distance, or simply growing in different directions. But rather than making love seem pointless, this awareness makes every moment of connection more precious. Jake and Finn's friendship lasts, not because they avoid the reality of change, but because they choose to face uncertainty together. This is the real lesson of the New Frontier. That dealing with our future is about learning to love and support each other despite uncertainty, choosing presence over control, and finding meaning and connection, even when we can't promise how long that connection will last. The future will always stay partially unknown and beyond our control. But our ability to care for each other despite that uncertainty gives meaning to whatever time we have. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is walking alongside them, letting them choose their own path, while making sure they never have to walk it alone. If you liked our video, why not subscribe to our channel for similar videos in the future?